It's Saturday morning, July 8th, 2023, and I am coming to you from my kitchen. You can't see the dirty dishes on the other side, which is by intention. Hi guys, my name is Kathleen. I live in northern Colorado, and I try to come here once a month. I've had some really big gaps in my filming, and I do apologize for not being here. I don't know why I'm apologizing. This is really a personal diary, and if you enjoy it, great. So where you can find me. So first of all, my name is Kathleen, like I said, and I am a mom. I am a full-time professional. I have 2 grown daughters. I am married to a wonderful husband who is actually out backpacking right now for his birthday. He's a nature boy. He wanted to get out into nature for his birthday, and more power to you, buddy, because I'm not a backpacker. So where can you find me other than here on YouTube? I am also on Instagram as The Pearled Nest, all one word. And I'm on Ravelry as, I have to write this down because I never remember, Special K Hulla. And the reason they're different is because I've been on Ravelry since I think, I don't know, early 2000s. And The Pearled Nest wasn't born until just a couple years ago. So that's like the Special K Hulla is kind of my personal Ravelry. I don't really have one for the podcast. So maybe someday. If this grows enough, maybe someday. Anyway, so yeah, it's been a hot minute, and I don't know why, other than just I'd rather knit and crochet than actually film a video. So kind of selfish of me, but this is my personal diary, right? So if you're watching and you're getting something out of it, I'm loving that. And I love it when you interact below and chat with me in the comments. I do read them. I'm not always super fast at responding to them, but I do read them, and I try to respond to each one. So since the last time we met, and by the way, let me know what you think of the new setup, because I know there's a lot of backlighting happening there from the sun in the front parlor and from my bedroom. I probably should have shut the bedroom door. At least the bed's made. Actually, I make my bed every morning, and you should too. There is nothing like getting into a freshly made bed every night. So this is my kitchen. You're looking at my family room. And we've had a lot going on for the last couple months. A lot going on the last few months. And that also had something to do with my little bit of a delay. Just so much going on, mostly in the house and on the house. But that's what you came here for. We'll do that at the end. We'll talk about life and what's been going on. For right now, let's jump into FOs. Clearly, I am not wearing any knits. It is July in Colorado, and usually by now it would be in the 90s and 100s. And this is the weirdest spring and summer I've had in 15 years of living here. So it's been very cool. Today, I think our high right now it's 64 on July 8th at 10:15 in the morning. And our high is only expected to be 71 today. And it's been raining like Seattle. I'm so done with the rain. Like, so done. So, it's been nice to knit actually, because it's been cooler, and finding time to knit has been great. But I've been like focusing on a few things that I really want to get done. So let's start with since the last time. Oh, I think I talked about this since the last time. I did finish this. This is the Camisole number 4 for my daughter. Look at those stripes. Like, when I bought the yarn, I didn't see this color changing. This is Farmer's Daughter Fibers in Foxy Lady. I forget the color name. It's like this. It's pretty close. It's like a camel color, I guess you would call this. And I had to re-knit this. I actually had knitted already, and I talked about this last time. I had knitted it already. I had knit it already, and she had worn it a few times, and the thing just like stretched out hugely. So I re-knit it for her, and I went down like 2 needle sizes. 1 or 2 needle sizes. I think I may have it written down somewhere. I'll try and remember and put it somewhere. I'm not sure where I'll put it. But I did go down at least 1 needle size, and I also went down, I want to say 2 sizes in the sweater as well, in the top. And it looks normal now. Like this looks normal and fits her now. Hopefully it won't start stretching out again as she wears it, but for now it's pretty perfect. And the only bummer is that the yarn itself looks worn really fast. Like you just wear it a few times, you wash and block it, and then of course I have frogged this and re-knit this yarn, and it does have the yarn has a bit of a worn look to it. And when it's on, because like it stretches out a little bit, it's all ribbing. When it's on, you don't really notice it as much, but when it's folded up, you kind of notice that it has just kind of like that worn look to it. And I'm not a really big fan. This is the second thing I've made with this yarn. I also made a Yumi top in this yarn as well. This is a silk blend yarn. It's silk merino. I think it's silk merino nylon. I know it's silk and merino. And I'm not a big fan of this yarn. I think it stretches out too much and it just looks worn really fast, really quickly. The color's great. And it's nice to work with in your hands. It's also very, very splitty when you're knitting. And I use the Chalgu needles, so it's pretty splitty. But and just like I feel like I've been there, done that. I probably won't do this yarn again. All right, the next thing is I made some mug rugs. This is one, and on my Instagram I put this one and the other one I made. I have done 2 of them, and it's so thick. Like this is so perfect for your coffee. So, et voila. Fits perfectly. It looks so cute on my table, on my little end table next to where I sit in the morning and have my coffee, and I have a little right now. Where I drink my coffee and where I knit. Usually trying to escape the TV that I can't stand. I don't like watching TV. I don't like it at all. In fact, I will avoid it if I can possibly. But when your big TV is right here and your little chair is just right there, you kind of can't avoid it. So usually I have headphones, AirPods in, and I'm watching a knitting video in the other room. But this color, so this pattern is from Jana at Finished Knitting Stories. She is Kettu Knits on Instagram, KETTUKNITS. And this is her pattern. So let's see. This is 5 strands. So there are 5 minis that I used for this. This is 5 strands of yarn held together and knitted all together at once. And I am amazed I didn't drop a single strand, because sometimes when you're working with multiple strands, you catch one, but you don't catch the other. Well, in this case, I had 5 and I caught all of them. And then, it's just garter stitch, and you do this really cool thing on the end to create this like braided look on either end. It's not an I-cord. It kind of looks like it a little bit, but it's not. It's not a Latvian. I've never done a Latvian braid, but I don't think this is a Latvian braid either. It just got the nicest edge finish on it as a result. It's not like your garter stitch bumps. And then you make fringe. I made mine much longer, and then I wasn't liking the long fringe, so I cut it. You have to be real careful. It's like when you get your hair cut. You just cut a little bit, make sure you like it, and if you still want to go shorter, just cut a little bit more. Well, same thing with fringe. You just want to make sure you don't cut it too short the first time. So I like it. I did make another one for my daughter. It's on my Instagram. You'll see it. It's in colors that were inspired by botanical prints, and she loves botanical prints. Anything botanical. So hers is, I don't know if I can reach it. I don't think it's right. It's right. Do you see it right there? Can you see it? Right there? It's pretty. And maybe I'll put a picture up here, but it's on my Instagram. You'll see it on my Instagram. It's another mug rug, and they're great. I really like them, and I want to make more of them. And I'm thinking like these would be great Christmas gifts. for like coworkers and stuff like that, because we all drink coffee in the office. So this would be like great Christmas gifts. Man, I hope none of them are watching. Anyway, finished objects, coffee mug rugs, camisole, the dog's blanket, and maybe I should go get it. Oh, please. And we're back. I don't know if I'm editing that out or if you're going to watch me walk around my family room. So I grabbed the other mug rug. So this is the other one, and it is, as you can see, it's like, this is also 5 strands. I think one of them in there is actually glittery. Oh yeah, I think, well, no, you're seeing through it. Maybe you can kind of catch it, but the green one of the green ones, the limey green color, is a glittery yarn, sock yarn. They're all sock yarns, by the way. They're all superwash, merino, nylon, different 80/20s, 75/25. Like they're all different scraps that I have. And so I was a little more, so this one I was not intentional with. I was just like, let's grab all the colors. So this one is all the colors. And then this one I was more intentional with, which really kind of inspired me when I think about making more of them, because then I can, you know, be intentional as far as which colors I choose. And it's basically marled 5, you're marling 5 strands. And I actually wasn't really sure how this was going to turn out when I knitted it up, and I was pleasantly surprised. It kind of reminds me of a flower botanical. And so I think I might do some that are really scrappy like the first one, and some that are a little more intentional for the gifts. We shall see. Okay, so I have a very old Labrador. He's a silver lab. His name is Zamboney, and he is going to be 14 this December, and he's like a 90-year-old man right now, and he's very stinky. So this is going to be a quick show to you, and then you're going to see me drop it back on the floor again because it smells terrible. And it's been washed and it's brand new. Okay. Okay, that didn't quite work out how I expected because I forgot I was connected. Yeah. Forgot, sorry, dropped you. Or maybe I fell. No, I didn't fall. I'm fine. Anyway, here's his blanket. It's super stinky. And as you can see, it's pretty big. It's like perfect size for his big dog kennel. I'm just gonna toss it there because it smells bad. And he's at the point where he has to get bathed twice a week, 2 times a week, and he still smells terrible. He's just an old dog. God, it sucks getting old. All right, oh, now you see my temporary office set up over there because, hello, we're going to talk about it soon. We have an addition to the house that we're doing. So let's bring it around town. Then we're going to go this way. You're on my gimbal, but I don't have it set up to do that thing where it follows me because it makes everybody nauseous. But you're on my gimbal. Okay, if you don't know what a gimbal is, you got to Google it, because if you do any kind of serious filming with your iPhone or your Android, if you were in that team, this is really a great tool to have. Okay, Zam's blanket. That's a finished object. I'm going to have to put a picture in here. I don't know if I'm going to put it here or here, but somewhere I'm going to put a picture of, I did some charity knitting. So in our community, there is, oh, you're too high. There we go. In our community, we have, we got chambers of commerce, we have whatever. We have the Loveland Rotary is in our community. I am in northern Colorado, as I mentioned. I think I might still be a little crooked. Hopefully I'm straight. And they do this annual thing where they float those little rubber ducks down the river, and they do it as a charity. So you buy a duck, and then you can actually, I don't know if they still do it this way, but it used to be that you could actually put it in the river and it goes floating down the Thompson River. And it's part of an annual thing that they do in August. Is it August or is it Labor Day? I can't remember, but it's sometime, towards the end of summer. And so what they started doing, so you could get like these little ducks and you could decorate them and stuff. And I think things were falling off of them, and things were like creating like pollution, litter situations in the river, and maybe hazardous to the wildlife and the fish. So they stopped doing that. And now what they do is they have these like I'm doing this, like you can see it, but you're going to see a picture of it somewhere, probably here, because it'll block this light here. But you're going to see it like it's a duck that fits in the palm, fits in my hands like this. It's like one of those bigger rubber ducks. And so I offered for one of our offices, I said, how about if I make like a ski hat and a ski sweater for it? And they were like, sure. And so what I ended up doing is I took a doll's sweater and a doll's hat, or was it a baby hat? I think it was a doll's hat. And I basically broke it down and redesigned it, and ended up like with the shoulders when I was making the sweater. It's a colorwork sweater with a yoke, by the way, colorwork for this rubber duck. And I just used yarn that I had around. And so I got to the shoulders because it basically had like doll shoulders on it. I got to the shoulders, and then I realized for it to get down the back, so the head and then down the back, and then it has this big belly. This like charades. Anyway, so I got to the shoulders, and then it was starting to bunch up going straight down the back because it still had to go across this great big belly, this great big chest it has. And I for the longest time, it sat there because I struggled with, how do I do this? How do I get it to go over? I needed some volume to go and fit to go over the chest, the big chest it has, but not get too bunchy on the back. And so, but I wanted my color work to continue around and then eventually get to the point where it was just, so it's like, I think I did green, white, and blue, like a navy, a blue, and a green. No, a navy blue, green, and ivory, like a white color. And so a light bulb finally went on, and it was like, short rows, Kathleen. You can do short rows, because I had just done those. Do you remember the iceberg sweater that I made and I showed in the last video? I did the darts for, because I got something here. And so I did the darts there, and I was like, oh, basically I'm getting across a big boob. So I did short rows across the front. So it allowed me to make a sweater that fit across the chest of the duck because I was creating additional fabric in the front without touching the back, basically. And then when I got to the point where it went under the duck enough that it was it would stay under the duck and not pop up, when I got enough short rows that it would do that. And that was literally there was no calculations involved. It was literally I'm knitting and trying it on, and knitting and trying it on the duck, and knitting it and trying on the duck, trying to figure out how to do my short rows so that it would not be too much fabric, because it's round, right? It's this round duck. Too much fabric on the sides where it looked weird. I wanted it to fit like a sweater on a duck. Don't ask me how I did this, because I'm not that smart. But somehow I managed to do it. And so, as you'll see in the pictures, it came out perfectly. I mean, that was like a happy accident. I really honestly don't think I could duplicate that. So and then I just took a doll hat, and I just figured out one that had about the same circumference as the head that the duck had. And again, just, played around with it. I think and even with the sweater, I think I might have, no, with the sweater, I don't really remember having to frog or to tink anything. I might have tinked, but I don't remember having to do that. But the hat, I want to say I started and restarted 3 or 4 times. just because I wanted it to fit on its head snugly enough to stay on it, but not so tight that it stretched out the fabric. And also there's color work in that too. So I had to be very intentional about how I made it, and it worked. And we'll know how well it's received. I mean, our company is, you do a donation for each of the big ducks, you do a $100 donation, and then you get to submit your decorated duck. So what I did is I made the sweater and the hat, and I gave it back to the office, and I said, okay, now it's your job to do the rest to it. Like, you make it whatever you want to make it. Find little skis, a little sled, or I don't know, a little snowball, I don't know, whatever they're gonna do. I have not seen it, so I don't know what they're doing with it. I haven't seen it since I handed it back to them, but they had till I think August 2nd to get this thing completed. So hopefully somebody there is doing something fun with it. Be nice to know that we'd won, but it's just fun making. It was just a fun thing to do, a little distraction. So, duck sweater and hat. The other thing I don't have with me, because the hubs is wearing them right now, because these are literally his favorite socks. He has a lot of favorite socks. He only likes to wear my knitted socks. And since he started wearing my knitted, hand-knitted wool socks, all year round, by the way, summer too, because they're very comfortable in the summer, he will only wear wool socks now. So he's had to go out and buy some like smart wool, although he's found smart wool, they don't wear very well. They get holes in them or thin very easily, and they stretch out. They're just not, the smart wool socks are not the greatest. But we found actually, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, we went to the Estes Park Wool Market, and he found some socks. I don't remember the brand. If I can find the brand, because he took the tags off them. If I can figure out what the brand was, I don't think they're nationally available. I really think it's maybe a Colorado machine knitting company, perhaps, that makes them, because they're definitely machine knit. And they're like commercial. They're not like typical, they're not typical, do I even have any here? They're not typical sock weight yarn, right? They're not like fingering weight yarn. They're, yeah, you don't need to see that. You know what fingering weight yarn looks like. It's a finer gauge, much finer gauge than that. It's got to be a commercially made sock, but they're wool. And he's just become such a sock snob, quite frankly. He's a major sock snob, and he prefers my socks that I make, but if he like needs more because he wears them every day, then he has gotten some that were a finer gauge too. Works well with like dress shoes and things like that. But he loves these socks. These are like the Cadillac, the Mercedes-Benz. When you sit in a Mercedes-Benz, you feel like you're in luxury and extremely comfortable. Like you're in your recliner or your big overstuffed comfy couch. To me, in my mind, that's what a Mercedes feels like. I do not drive a Mercedes. I do not drive a Mercedes. I do drive a Tesla, but it's not quite the same. These socks are like Mercedes. They are Treehouse Knits yarn, or is it Treehouse Yarns? Treehouse Knits or Treehouse Yarns. They are merino wool, silk, and yak. No nylon in them. And I don't know, I think it's the yak that makes them feel like the most luxurious, soft, squishy, amazing on your feet socks. And he 100% loves them. Like, if I could make all his socks out of that, he'd be set. Like, he wouldn't need anything else. That would be all he needed. So maybe buying more of that yarn, but as you can imagine, it's a little more pricey because it's a more of a luxury yarn, but the color is, ooh, that was weird. My lights just flashed. The color is amazing though. It is called Most Metal. I'm pretty sure it's called Most Metal. And it's like this grayish navy. I don't know how to describe it. It's a tonal yarn, and it's kind of like, you've heard me talk about polka dot sheep yarn before in their, I think it's Tenderfoot. I've made a few pair of socks with that. And That yarn will, when you block it, will stretch quite a bit. And so I've discovered I have to make, when I make something out of those yarns, I make it a little bit smaller. The same is true, I've discovered, with this yarn. So I actually had to twice, not once, but twice, I actually wash them. They are superwash. There's no nylon, but they are superwash. So I washed them and I went, whoa, these are going to be too big for him. So I mostly air dried them, and then I put them in the dryer with towels inside out so that the outside wouldn't look too fuzzy. And he wore them once and I was like, how do they feel? And he's like, yeah, they fit great. They're a little bit loose, but they fit great. So I was like, okay, we're going to shrink them one more time. And so I put them in the dryer again. I washed them in the washing machine with just regular clothes, not with towels, because I think that would be too abusive on the socks. And then mostly air dried them on my blocking, like they're wire, my Brycraft, I think they are, the wire blocking forms for socks. Mostly dried them, and then when they were like halfway dry, then I put them in the dryer with towels, again inside out. And then they shrunk, that like got them to the perfect size. They're like just the right amount of negative ease to feel like they're not like too loose on his foot, like slidey, that kind of thing, loosening up. And he loves them. I mean, those socks, bar none, are literally his favorite. He would wear those every day if he could. So if you have access to the ability to purchase some more luxury sock yarn, it does not have nylon in it, and the silk acts as the stabilizer and the reinforcer. We're gonna have to try Treehouse Yarns. They are in Austin, Texas, I think they're in Austin. I know they're in Texas because it was a souvenir that I brought back from my trip to Austin. That yarn base is flipping amazing. I can't even say any more about it. It's amazing. All right. I hope that wasn't too loud. Let's take a sip of coffee. This is decaf. I'm already caffeinated enough. So this is decaf Americano. This mug I got because I got a linen dress from Magic Linen. I'm not sponsored by them. I just am a sucker for Instagram ads, and I bought one of their dresses, which by the way I didn't like once I got it home. I mean, the dress is beautiful. It's just on me, it doesn't look like it does on the model. But anyway, I had to spend like $10 more, I think, in order to get free shipping from Lithuania, by the way. And by the way, that got to me faster than any American company other than Amazon. But I added this mug and I just love it. It's more botanicals, and I love that it's kind of purpley on one side and green on the other. So maybe spring and fall. I don't know, but I love this mug. Like, I love it a lot. And it was like $10, just enough for me to get my free shipping. And it's a decaf Americano. I think I said that. I'm now repeating myself, so we're going to go a little faster. And my lights, for whatever reason, are like doing that thing where they go like bright and then back to normal. That happens here. We have above ground utilities, and it's breezy today, and it's definitely, when I look out this window, going to pour rain again at some point today. So that's probably what's going on. So WIPs, works in progress. I have a Battenberg blanket. So this, I think I showed last time too. Like when I first heard about the Battenberg blanket, I mean, you all probably know about it. This is a crochet project. If you don't, just Google it. It is from Cherry Heart Knit, or Cherry Heart Crochet, just Cherry Heart. I'll put it down somewhere. It's her pattern. And I had all of these squares, which I don't have one on me, but I had like all these colorful squares. You've seen them. I've shown them so many times, like my piles of color work or minis, sock yarn minis, all these many colors. And I wasn't really sure how I was going to put it all together, and I was a little daunted by the thought of making more of the minis to get it to the size I wanted. So then when I saw the Battenberg blanket on Finished Knitting Stories on YouTube, I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. So, like, I had to think about the colors that I've explained this before. I've shown this before. Go watch previous episodes. This is just some gray. It's gray. It's not as brown as it looks here. It's like a true charcoaly gray. Not super dark. It's like a lighter charcoal gray. So I bought that. It's fingering weight. I bought that. And so what you do is, so you just grab these squares, let's see, where's a good example? Okay, so you make this one, and then you attach 4 of the colored squares around it, and then you're just kind of, you crochet these up separately, and then after you have it all done, so you crochet it up separately, and after you finish your last row and you still have your yarn attached, you then start attaching all of these other squares. And so this is the wrong side. I don't know if you can see, there's like a seam, of kind of a visible little raised seam. I don't know what that's going to do when I actually wash it. I think it'll still be there, but from this side it looks like just a decorative treatment. It doesn't look like you're looking at the wrong side, even though if you know crochet, you can tell right away that this is the wrong side of the fabric, and this is the right side of the fabric. See, the stitches just look neater on this side. They have more definition on this side than they do on the back, and you don't see that seam, the seams around everything at all. I mean, it looks like you crocheted them all together as you went, and you kind of sort of do. You're doing the gray ones, and then you're just you're joining on all the colored ones as you go. And so it's kind of weird looking because, you just add in this most random way, and I just pick random squares. I'm somewhat intentional in that I'm trying to make sure I'm evenly going through I have them all sorted. I have all of my 240 squares sorted by color in a cabinet. So, and they're done in such a way that I can pull them out like this. They're not laying flat, they're laying on their sides, so I could see all of them in a row. And so I can just grab them. And so what I've been trying to do is make sure that when I'm grabbing 4 of them, I am grabbing them like one yellow, one orange, one red, and going through the colors of the rainbow. I have them all sorted by the colors of the rainbow, including the neutrals. And so I just try to make sure I'm evenly grabbing from each of those to try and give it, I don't want it to look like this is scrappy. This is meant to look scrappy. It's meant to look like kind of chaotic, and it 100% does. But I'm not trying to put like purples with purples and reds with reds and yellows with yellows, and like I'm not doing anything like that. It's pretty wackadoo. Like there's a random blue one, and like, hello. Anyway, so it's fun. It's a great project, and it's actually coming along really well. And what I didn't realize, I was afraid I didn't have enough of the colored squares. And now that I'm getting into adding the gray, I'm realizing, oh crap, this thing might be king sized by the time I'm done, because it's already this big. And I'm telling you, I have not even made a dent in my little squares. How many do I have in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I have 23 of them in here. Hold please. And we're back. Little break we had to take there. You know, family has life that's trying to happen around the house and doesn't want to be on the camera. I can't blame her, because she has, just woke up and she's, still in her jammies. Anyway, what were we talking about before we were so rudely interrupted? It was this. So I think I counted 22, right? I think I counted 22 squares, and it's pretty good sized already. Like these are, I think these are 3-inch, they're 3 or 3.5-inch squares. I'm kind of tugging on them a little bit, holding this, but so 3, 6, 9, 12. I mean, that's 15 inches, give or take, right there, wide. And I haven't even made a dent in my squares. I mean, I've just used 20, and I have 242 of them. I only use 10% of them, so this is going to be pretty dang big by the time it's done. So you could see where I add them. I mean, I add them randomly wherever. I am trying to make like a straight edge this way and a straight edge this way, because I feel like I need a corner to start from. So, oh, and that just made my nose itchy. There's something in here that's fuzzy. But anyway, so that's one of my works in progress. It's going to be in progress for probably years. Because I will tell you also, because I'm getting older and my eyes are getting older, that when I'm working on these little squares, yeah, I got some fluff right here somewhere. When I'm working on these little squares, especially if it's like, I have to do it in like the daytime, it's harder at night. Even with my neck light on, I have a neck light, it's even with that, I find if I work on this too long, because it's small, then my eyes start to get a little blurry and tired, and I think my lenses and my eyes just get tired of trying to focus on it, and so I have to take a break from it. So I can't make a ton of these. Like, I can't do this for hours and hours and hours. This is like, do a couple of them, join them, and then put it down to like the next day or something like that, or maybe later that day. So I have not, and I have other things that I've been focusing on, so it's not gotten the same amount of attention. It kind of goes through spurts of attention depending on what I'm working on, what else I have casted on. I never used to be, like, I used to be very monogamous in my knitting, and now I'm very polygamous. So I'm very Warren Jeffs, if you know who that is. I'm not Warren Jeffs. I'm the opposite of Warren Jeffs. So, oh, and this is the size of my hook. It's tiny. It's tiny. It is a, wait for it, size E. Does it have millimeters on here? It doesn't have millimeters on here, so I don't know what the E is in millimeters, but it's very small. It's, do you see the head on that? It's very small because it's working with fingering weight yarn, right? So, and it just happened to be the one that I had. It's like one of those ones from Michaels, and I probably have had this for like 30 years. It's just the one I grabbed when I started this project, and in the meantime, I think before I got the gray ones, I had gotten myself one of those clover with the nice squishy handle on it, and it's supposed to also be an E, but the texture is, it has a bit of a texture on the shaft here, on the metal part that's exposed, and it seems to make the stitches bigger, even though it's supposed to be the same size. And it doesn't quite, like, this goes pretty quickly because it's like this shiny metal, slippery shiny metal. So I had to go back to using this. I really wanted to try that new hook, but I'll use it on something else eventually. So I'll have to continue with this hook, and that's okay. It's just I can't work on it for too long before my eyes just really get bothered by it. Some of you will understand. And it's not a problem. I've asked my doctor about it, and he's like, you're just getting older. You just can't do that for hours and hours like you used to be able to do. Okay, my next work in progress. As always, there is always a pair of socks on the go when I do my traveling for work or pleasure or whatever. It is my go-to project. It is in my Jezebel Bee bag. I got this. Oh, I got this at, it's like a famous place in Austin. It's got Weavers in the name. Dang it, I can't remember. Does it say it on here? All you knit is love. Hill Country Weavers. It says all you knit is love. Ain't that the truth? And there's Ruth, keeping an eye on things, keeping it real for me. But I got that when I made my purchase at Hill Country Weavers, which I thought was super sweet. So that's prominently, and the only ones actually I found I can put on here are ones that are like this. They're like these metal, they call them badges, I think, in England, but they're just, you know, pins. They're the only ones that seem to stay on well. When you have the ones that have where the pin just like pushes on, like an earring backing sort of, those, I lose those. Like they get caught on things, and I had a couple of them, and they get caught on them, and they disappear. I don't know where they go. They get caught and they vanish. I never see them again. And then I'll find the like little backing like down inside my bag here. These are great because like they're like a safety pin sort of, so they're not going anywhere. And even if they do, it's very unlikely, even if they come open, it's really unlikely that I would lose it. So I prefer this kind on here. I just look for more of them whenever I'm out and about. I don't want a ton of them on there. It's just not my style. I'll be fairly picky about the ones that I actually choose to put on here, but I do like this style for that reason. And if you've ever lost some of those other kind, you understand. So that was a little digression because I was going to show you a couple things. One, I have discovered, and I think I might have talked about this last time, like this ain't working for me with my sock yarn, this big plastic zipper on here. Because what I find happens a lot is my sock yarn, which is also sitting in the bag, will get like caught inside at some point, you know, whatever. I find it caught inside the zipper, and then it gets zipped in the zipper. And oh, I've come so close so many times to having to break the yarn. I've been like, I will stress over it for like an hour to try and figure out how to get it out of the zipper without breaking the yarn or damaging the yarn. And knock on whatever, I have been able to get it out every single time, but it has made me realize that no matter what bag I'm using, I don't think I want Notions bags that have zippers. That it's just, you're just asking for trouble. It's just gonna, just like I don't like project bags that have zippers, because for the same reason, because I tend to sit my project or my yarn in my project bag and then hold my project in my lap and leave the yarn in the bag and knit from it. And if there's a zipper involved, very often it's going to catch on the yarn, or the yarn will get zipped into it, just like they kind of get zipped into this accidentally. So I avoid bags that are zip for that reason, which is why I do love the Jezebel Big Bee. It's just open, and of course it can go on your arm, so you can walk and knit. I am not that talented. I do have to look at my yarn when I'm knitting. When I'm knitting, for the most part, there are some things like the next project you'll see, I can look away, but I do every now and then still have to look at it. With socks, I definitely have to look at it. I do. This is the Suburban Stitcher. This is her sock yarn, and it looks a little different here than actually what it looked like in the skein. It's coming up as I knit it, it's looking more gray than like a creamy color that I thought it might be, but I'm pretty sure it's called Starstruck. I think I have the thingy right here. No, that's not it. That's like 3 pair of socks ago. I'm pretty sure I have it here. Wait for it. It's coming, I promise. I think. Am I a liar? I'm a liar. Where is it? I always keep my ball band with my project. Where is it? What the heck? Oh, we gotta talk about that. Oh, there's one more thing I have to go so I could get, and so I could show you. Well, dang it. Anyway, it's Starstruck by Suburban Knitter in her sock base. And it's like an 80-20 or 75-25. I can't remember what it is, but it's a lovely, squishy, nice sock base. And this is how it knits up. I wish the lighting was a little better. I didn't bring my ring light this time. And so we got a little bit of a yellowing from the overhead lights. They're just like Edison bulbs here. But it knits up really pretty. This is my own design. My own design. Seriously, the socks are in my head. I don't even need a pattern. And I just try and change it up now and then. And I had shown before that I had created this like racing stripe down my sock. And the last time I had done purl 1, knit 1, purl 1 to make the racing stripe. This time I just did 2 purls in there. So I divide the upper part of the sock, the instep, in half. Oop, there's a notification. And then, or in thirds, I divide it in thirds. And for me, it's 12, 12, 12 because it's 36. Is it 72? No, it's not 12. Is this 72? Did I do 72 stitches on this one? Usually I do 64. I don't know. Whatever. I divide it into thirds, and then I just on 1/3, when I hit the 1/3, that's where I do my racing stripe. And these will be shorty socks. So it'll look kind of like this. Cross your foot. Yep. It's kind of striping a little, which is interesting. So yeah, that's my socks. That's a project that I always have on the go. It's always some kind of sock. I travel with it everywhere. At some point we will travel internationally, and I will, internationally. I don't think I can take chow-goos on an international flight. I can take them on domestic flights, but I'm pretty sure you have to have wooden needles for international flights. So that's something to think about, because next year we want to go to France or Italy, or maybe both. So that's something we got to think about next year. I'm gonna have to get a set of like interchangeable wooden ones, because I love my chow-goo interchangeables. I have 2 sets. I have the one with the bigger size needles and one with all the tiniest size needles, gauge size needles. Okay, last work in progress for now is, this is yet another example of a bag that I think is flipping brilliant. And I got this as a Christmas present from my Secret Santa, because hello, clearly he knows me. And actually my coworkers, because he was a 19-year-old kid, my coworkers told him what to get. My other coworkers. But this is the coolest bag. So it's actually paper. This bag is paper. Can you hear this? It's paper. It looks like canvas, but it's paper. And this is from one of my local yarn shops. This is the one I frequent 99.99999% of the time. I go to the others when I have to. But this was something they had at Christmas time, and it is flipping amazing. Like, if I could get more of these, I would get more of these, because it is perfect for holding a project, and it like sits on a table or the floor or whatever perfectly, and your yarn sits in it nicely. It doesn't catch on anything. Like, it's actually stitched. Can you see that? This is paper, and it's actually stitched, and these are like the canvas webbing handles, and they're cotton canvas. They're not plastic. So this is all biodegradable. We got cotton, we got paper, and I'll bet you $1 million that's probably like some kind of biodegradable ink too. Anyway, we have the Dolce Vita top. The Dolce Vita top I found because I was originally going to do another top. I don't remember what it was. I was going to do something that I saw. My North Knit Corner, she had a top, like a summer tank top that she showed on her podcast maybe a month or so ago, and I loved it. And I got the yarn for it, and then I was like, I love it, but do I love it that much? And so I did a little looking, because I needed some summer tops, some like natural or plant-based summertime kind of tops. There goes my lights again. And so I just did a little looking online, and because I just kind of felt a little bit actually like it was maybe not my style, and I wanted something a little more my style. And don't you know, I didn't print any pictures of it. Okay, we're gonna grab the iPad. We're gonna grab the trusty old iPad. Oh, look, it has a little tag inside the bag. What does it say? What does it say? It says, oh, for Pete's sakes, I'm gonna put my glasses on, because it's cool. I would get more of these. American ad bag. It's like from like one of those marketing, swag product companies. Darn, I was hoping I could find more of them somewhere. Oh yeah, all recyclable. It is entanglement hazard. I don't know, it says, oh my God, you can machine wash this bag on gentle cycle. Do not place around neck. Machine wash, gentle cycle, line dry, do not bleach. This thing is paper. I can put this in the washing machine. That's amazing. Okay. Well, mind blown. Anyway, so I'm actually going to pull up my iPad and show you this. Where'd you go? Here you are. See, without giving too much away, maybe I can just show the picture. Oops. Wait, oh no, go back, please. There's kind of a glare from the window, but can you see that? Let's see if there's another picture. You can also do it with short sleeves. I don't think I'm going to do it this way. I kind of want a tank top. I love this scoop neck it has without being, I don't think it'll be too low. Like, I actually like this. This is just an Athleta top. I just like this because it is, I don't know, I just feel a little more comfortable in it. But, yeah. See? I figure with a pair of shorts, or I just ordered a linen skirt from Athleta and some linen shorts. I thought it would look really cute. And this was, let's see, maybe I can go back and show you the top that I was originally gonna make. I was originally gonna make, here it is. And this is from the Bluebird Box podcast. I was originally gonna make that top. Yeah. And it's got like kind of a V. It's rounded. It's not really a V. It's kind of a rounded V. And I don't know, the more I looked at it and I thought about, you know, spending the time to knit it, I was like, yeah, it's cute, but it just didn't like quite make my soul sing or make my heart jump. And you'll hear about It's a Sarah. She always says, make my heart jump. Didn't quite make my heart jump, but the Dolce Vita top did. I love that. I really love that square neckline. A little revealing, but not really revealing, which I really like. So yes, I am making the Dolce Vita top. So now this is made in, oh, pardon the plastic sounds. I got this from Knit Picks because I was looking, since I have not knit with cotton linen before or anything like that, or not in a long time, not since my 26-year-old daughter was 1. It's been a long time since I've knit with linen or cotton. I gotta take these off. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna go Knit Picks because they're gonna be super affordable. And so I got this Knit Picks Shine, which it's a sport weight, and it is 60% Pima cotton, 40% modal, which I understand is either bamboo or beech based fiber. And it's part of what gives it the shine, because it doesn't say it's mercerized. Part of what gives it that shine is the modal. I don't know how you say that. Here, you can see it. It looks backwards to me. I know it doesn't to you, but it looks backwards to me. Anyway, this color is blush, and it's pinker than quite frankly, than I expected. And it probably is fairly true to the picture that's on the Knit Picks website, but for whatever reason, I still ordered it. I really wanted something that was like barely pink, like a white color with just a hint of pink. And instead I have pink. This is like almost Barbie pink. This is like old school. Okay, this is like old school Barbie pink, not current Barbie pink that is neonish. This is like old school Barbie pink, like for when I was a kid in the 70s. And here is, oh, this is the front. I have my marker. I have my little marker that's on the front. And you can kind of tell because it's shorter in the front than it is in the back. This is how much I have done. Hopefully it doesn't mess up my microphone, but it's like a bralette right now. I'm only about halfway through. Whoops, too much? Good enough? Anyway, I'm about halfway through, and it is, oh my gosh, This was affordable yarn, and it's all natural fibers. I mean, modal, it's an engineered fiber, but it's still a natural fiber that it's made from, because it's made into pulp and extruded and turned into yarn or threads, whatever. But it is so soft. This yarn knits up so beautifully. It is so soft. It's the only thing I'm a little worried about is it is also a little bit heavy. So in the fully completed top, how heavy is it going to feel? I really wanted a cotton linen, and I wanted it in something in fingering weight, but the original pattern for the mala top was sport weight, and so I had to find something sport weight to like substitute for it. And so it feels like it might be a little bit heavy. I don't really know. We'll kind of tell when it's finished and I'm wearing it. I hope to wear it on my vacation in a couple weeks. I think we leave in like 2.5 weeks. And I wanted to, what do we leave on vacation? I don't know. It's a few weeks away. And I wanted to try and make sure I have this done in time so I can take it with me on the trip and wear it and see how I like it. Maybe I'll make more of them, maybe not. There's so many beautiful tops out there. I tend to not knit things again and again and again because there is so much opportunity out there. There's so many things that I want to knit that I tend to not knit things again and again and again. But we shall see after I make this, because I don't have any summer tops that I've made before other than the one for my daughter. So this one's for me. All right. Coming soon. New segment. Coming soon. I'm in real estate, so coming soon's kind of something we talk about a lot. So let's talk about the things that I want to knit, and I'll show them to you on my, because I think I bought all the patterns. I don't think any of these are free, by the way. They're all in Ravelry, and I think I had to pay for all of them. So the first batter up is, and I'm not making them in this particular order. This is just the order that I have them in on a piece of paper here. The first one is, and this one I heard about from the podcast Danish Musings, which is not primarily a knitting podcast, but she is also a recently returned to knitting. And so she has done a few knitting episodes. She's discovered that, you know, she has an audience that wants to see and hear her projects. Her aesthetic is amazing. We'll talk about her in a minute. But anyway, she was wearing one of these in one of her episodes. And I was like, I need that in my life. She's got, it seems like a fairly similar build to me. So I saw it on her and I was like, I need that in my life. So the first one is the Yorium. I think it's Y-O-R-E-U-M, the Yorium top. And it's just a plain tank with that really nice lacework feature, like a chevron lacework almost, kind of like, not wheat sheaves. What is that? There is a name for that design. It looks very botanical. And so that's one of them. This I would do in either a linen or a cotton linen or cotton silk linen, depending what I could get. The next one I want to make is the Joni top, Joni. Let me show you this one. This one's really pretty. This one, now in the picture, yes, it looks very pretty. It looks very complicated, but it's not, because knitting really isn't complicated. But when I saw, in America we call her Hella, but I think in Danish it's Hille. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hille, if you're watching, but I think it's Hille. Oh, dang it, where'd you go? There we go. There's the Joni top. Can you see that design in the middle there? Like right in the, like this area, it's like a square, and just like this yoke area here is just the most beautiful lace pattern. And then it's just a very simple, like textured for the rest of the sweater. It looks like stockinette with maybe a row of pearls every, I don't know, centimeter? Every inch, probably every inch actually. And then it has that lovely like yoke in the middle of it, panel. It's like a panel in the middle of it. It's just so pretty. And then the other ones I want to make are Okay, this I also got from, oh, and by the way, I saw that Joni top also on, I think it's the most recent episode of Fruity Knitting. Andrea was wearing it. She did hers in green, and Hilla did hers in a white color. She does a lot of her things in very light neutral colors. Hilla does, and she did hers in white, and that's when I just totally fell in love with it. I was like, I have to make that in that clear, crisp, stark white that she made hers in. She also showed this on one of her episodes, a couple episodes back, I think, and this is the Gal sweater. This is by Masha Ziblikova, and I'll put the names of these designers and these patterns like down here. This is the Gal sweater. And this one, I honestly don't think that this does it justice, because Hilla actually did a little quick video where she modeled hers, and it's all mohair, and like it would be a phenomenal fall, winter, spring kind of sweater. Maybe spring might be a little too warm, but certainly fall and winter, as something to wear over top of a camisole of some kind underneath, because you can see through it. And then like with a skirt, you know, something like that, it would be so pretty, or a pair of slacks. It would be so, so pretty. And it has long, very long sleeves that come down to your fingertips. It's just, it has a, let's see if I can find a good picture of it. Oh, here's actually maybe not just such a bad picture of it. Here. So you can see, maybe that's not the best one. Maybe this is better. So the word gal in Hebrew means wave, apparently. And so the lace pattern kind of resembles waves. And it has like a drawstring feature. It looks like an I-cord that it probably has like yarn overs right there to create an area. You can weave it, kind of thread it through there. And you use an I-cord to cinch it in a little bit to create kind of a peplum. And although you can kind of see the pattern, the wavy kind of pattern. I really want to make that one, because that one, again, Hilla did in a neutral color, and it was just so beautiful. And then I want to make something everybody's making right now, but yeah, I'm not usually much of a bandwagon person, but this one I was like, this just makes a whole lot of sense, because what wardrobe couldn't use a Tolsta tee? Yeah. This is by the Craybear on YouTube, Rebecca Clow. You can do, she encourages you to do, like, add your own personal style to it. It's just a basic tee. And then, here's another example. She did this one with eyelets. I really like that one, actually. Maybe that one. I don't know. I have some things rolling around in my head on what I want to do with that. Do you remember when I talked about, I have my, the Juicy colorway from Hue Loco Yarns, and then I also got, because I was like, I don't know if I want a whole sweater in this. I need something to go with it. It's got a lot going on. And I'm not a huge fan of speckled yarns as much anymore, except maybe in socks, but I thought if I added a solid neutral to it and did something stripy, it would probably look really cool. So I thought the Tolsta tee would be great. I could do that striped one, the first one I showed you. And I got some, I think it's called Old Brass or something like that, from Treasure Knits. Treasure Knits? Treasure Girl Knits? Treasure Knits? I think it's Treasure Knits. I got a couple skeins of that to go with it, because it kind of complements the coloring, the yellow, kind of the yellowy tones in the Juicy. And I think I might make the Tolsta tee in a stripe. The only bummer with that is that they are sock yarn. They're a merino nylon blend, those two. And I would really like this in like a cotton linen, but it might be a good like spring and fall kind of to wear underneath something like a jacket or something. So I might make that. And it'd be just like maybe another nice option for my wardrobe. So if I do make one in plant-based fibers for like summertime wear, and then I can also have this one for spring and fall, maybe even in the winter, depending. And then my other coming soon is, wait for it, and it's also bandwagon knitting, but I do love the versatility of this piece. And this is from Jackie Rose. Y'all have seen this a bajillion times. You watch a few knitting podcasts and pretty much at some point everybody, oh, there's my old dog. Pretty much everybody has made one of these at this point, I feel like, but it's the Saturday shrug. I think there's also the Friday shrug and maybe even the Sunday shrug at this point. But I like the Saturday shrug. It looks like a really quick knit. It's chunky yarn. And I just love when you see the Caddy Jack's Knits podcast where they highlight that particular, I think it might be a couple episodes they do it in. It's just so versatile. And then Ivana on the Republic of Me made one and took it with her on a cruise, and she could either wear it as a cowl, she could wear it as just something snugly under a jacket, or she could bring it down over her shoulders, over a t-shirt, just to have that little bit of warmth when it got cooler or chilly. It's just super, super versatile, and I absolutely love it for that reason. And I can see myself making this. I can see myself making a few of, and probably mostly in neutral tones. But I do also love the idea of the neon and neutral, so I might do maybe one in some kind of neon and neutral combo too. We shall see. And then last one, and I had to do I had to go on how do you pronounce this on the internet? Because I don't know how to pronounce this, but I love this. I don't know when I'm gonna make it. It's coming soon at some point. I have no idea when I'm gonna make it, but I don't know that this is the greatest picture of it. This is, I think this is black and white, but is it the shakarag skirt? And I think they make, because that's a retreat, as I recall. The shakarag is a knitting or fiber craft retreat, maybe spinning and weaving and all that. Can you see on that gal in the picture? I don't know if that's the designer or not, but it's just a cotton skirt, and you do put elastic in the waistband because, you're just not guaranteed it's going to stay on your hips if you don't. And plus you need something to hug your body like that. I just love this skirt, and I would love to have this skirt in my wardrobe, and I really want to make one of these. It's in all kinds of colors in here, and everybody who's wearing it, it looks good on all of them, all these body types. It looks great. And you kind of worry a little bit about, when you have a certain body type, like most of us do, especially if you've had kids, you kind of worry about things maybe clinging a little bit. But this one, it's an A-line skirt, and so because of the fiber, you could give it as much positive or negative ease as you wanted, right? Because you're putting elastic in the top. You could give yourself a lot of positive ease and do a little slightly snugger elastic, and now you've got a flary kind of skirt that will hide everything. You do as long as you wanted, you could do it as short as you wanted. I just think it's a really nice piece, and it looks like it's something that would really travel well. The only thing, and I certainly discovered this with this top, is that the cotton fiber does wrinkle, but it does seem to come out very quickly. So if I were to, this is going to travel with me in my travel backpack. I'm going to try not to do a suitcase. I'm going to try and do my travel backpack that I did when I went sailing, and it will wrinkle when it's in there. I do roll them so I get less wrinkle, but it's still going to have some wrinkles in it. But this top so far has proven that you just hang it up a little bit, or if it's just sitting in my lap knitting it, and those wrinkles come right out. So I'm not too worried about that. And I think the same if I used maybe even the same, not the same color. There's so many colors in this, but if I use the same yarn for this skirt, it actually this would be probably just the right amount of weight to it so that it would hang and drape well, because this does drape well. And I think it would make the skirt drape well and give good stitch definition to the lace feature that's at the bottom. So those are all my coming soons. I'm sure I'm going to have more, but for right now, those are all my coming soons. And so let's talk real quick about, we got a couple more things to get through, and we're already an hour and 15 minutes in. That does include the little interlude where family had to go do their things, but podcasts I'm currently watching. Now, some of these are going to be repeats. You've heard me talk about them before, but please, please, please go visit these knitters, these crafters. They're doing amazing things. You will find yourself hooked, I'm pretty sure. And so the ones they're all saved in my subscriptions, and I literally cannot wait till the next one comes out, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and I wait for that notification. Some of them are predictable, like Mondays and Fridays or something like that, but I absolutely love all these podcasts, and I'm always interested in new ones. I do like to see people that are somewhere around my age, because our interests will be a little similar, but I'm open pretty much to anything. I love Rebecca Clow, and she's significantly younger than I am. She's like my kid's age. Finish Knitting Stories. That would be Yana. She is Ketu Knits on Instagram. Her personality is amazing, and I want to sit and knit with her. She's fabulous. It is a Sarah. She calls her podcast It's a Sarah, but it is it.is.a.sarah, S-A-R-A-H. That is also her Instagram handle. And Sarah, I love when she refers to herself in the third person. And she talks about being messy, and she talks about Miss Perfect, and that you don't have to listen to Miss Perfect all the time. Sarah puts hers out. So Yana puts hers out on Fridays pretty regularly. She very rarely misses a Friday. And then Sarah, almost as regularly, she's super regular unless her family's going on vacation, she does Monday and Friday. And she also puts hers out in English and in Dutch. She does 2 episodes a week, 2 languages. So she does 4 videos a week. She doesn't work outside the home, I should say. She doesn't work outside the home. So she has the bandwidth, the time to be able to do it. I envy her that, because I would love to be able to do something like that. But she'll even say like that takes away from knitting time, or in her case, crochet time, because she loves crochet too. The Republic of Me. This is Ivana. An entirely different feel to this video, to this podcast. It's her surroundings are dark, so it's a very moody kind of feel to it, and she's very serious. She's funny, and she's very engaging and warm, but she's a little more serious, and she is an artist's artist. She's pretty phenomenal. Her paintings are beautiful as well. She is clearly very much an artist, and it comes out in all of her work, including her weaving. And I absolutely love her podcast. Is one of the ones that when I need something quiet to sit and knit with and be relaxed with, that's the one I watch. If I want to feel more energetic, I watch Finish Knitting Stories, and it's a Sarah. Danish Musings is another one that it's not moody. It's Scandinavian. It's, oh no. Is Denmark? No. Is Denmark in Scandinavia? I don't think the Netherlands is. I can never remember that. And I apologize to any European viewers, my complete American ignorance on this stuff. But her surroundings, where she's filming from, are all it's like you walked into IKEA as far as colors, like white, all the white, but her aesthetic is flawless, more like my style. I'm much more like, I'm hygge is something, and she would tell you it's not hygge, it's hyggelig. That is something I aspire to, but not quite to the extent that the Scandinavians are able to accomplish, because it's part of your culture. It's not part of my culture here, but it is something I absolutely have every bit of love for and wish I could mimic here without it looking like cultural appropriation. It's very simple. It's just very simple. And I wouldn't say it's minimalistic, although it does lean towards the minimalistic, because it can be, it just has that hyggelig kind of sense to it, with candles and sheepskins and blankets and things that make the cool much more cozy. And I think that's what it is. It's the cool surroundings that are made cozy with the soft furnishings and the soft touches and lighting. And she's got it 100% in her house. It's amazing. And in her style as well. It's very hyggelig. If a human can be hyggelig, I don't even know if that's a thing, then she is. She like embodies it. And so I love to watch hers. I even love, she's Danish Musings, and I even absolutely love the ones that are not revolving around knitting. It's like her own personal diary where she just speaks freely her mind, and I love it. It's so refreshing. I just love that about Sarah, Yana, Hila. I don't know if it's Ivana. I don't know if it's a European thing, but they much more speak their mind. And we Americans tend to hide some of our true feelings for the most part, but they very much speak their mind, and they have beautiful minds, and I love to listen to them. Amy Palco, same thing. Also, I'm just realizing I have a bit of a theme going here. I don't know that I have a single American. I don't think I have a single American or Canadian like artist or crafter or whatever in my list that I'm about to share. Amy Palco, she's in Scotland. Her calm personality, her beautiful style, her beautiful aesthetic, her presentation, very simple presentation, just her sitting on a couch or whatever, but it's wonderful. My North Knits, she has a very curated corner of her house that she sits in and presents everything that she's making, but again, very, I think she's Norwegian, very calm, very relaxing, very interesting. She's very prolific because she has some health issues, and I'm trying to remember her name. Anne or Anna? I think it's Anne. And she's got some kind of health issues, so she can't work, but she can knit prolifically. Like, that is her passion, and she does a lot of it, and you will be so inspired when you see it. You'll get, so many ideas. You'll get so many ideas. We Grow Wild, which is Martina in Italy. She's just delightful and truly, she lives and breathes the natural life, and like she makes her own buttons out of found wood and found stone. God, I just realized I'm leaning on my microphone. I hope I'm not making terrible sounds. Sari Nordland. I would love to say it the way she says it. Sari Nordland. She is also Finnish, and she is also a designer, amazing designs. I don't think any of these others are designers. I think they're just knitters, crafters, knitters, crocheters. Sari is also a designer, and her she shows her works that she's working on, and they're amazing. She's amazing. How her mind works is amazing. I do have an American from Indianapolis. I have the fat squirrel. Amy, not Amy Lynn. Amy, I can't remember her. She has two names. Like, her first name is two names. Amy, the fat squirrel. She's so fun. Also very energetic, very funny, very brilliant. Into all kinds of fiber crafts. I laugh when I watch hers, and I'm often nodding my head like, yeah. A Knitter's Soul. She's Estonian. I believe she's living in either Norway or Finland right now, but I think it might be Norway. A Knitter's Soul is Elo. Elo is A Knitter's Soul. I wonder if her name's Elodie, but her name's Elo. She's Estonian, and she has also a very calm presentation style. Her lighting is not so brilliant on her podcast, so I don't know that you're truly getting the real sense of what she's sharing and what it really looks like. But what she presents, her color work is her thing, and she excels at it. And she is just a beautiful knitter, absolutely beautiful knitter, and a beautiful presenter. Mindful Making. Now, this gal, Jane, Mindful Making. She lives in Australia, but she is Danish. Or is she Dutch? I want to say she's Danish. I'm pretty sure she's from Denmark originally, but she's been in Australia for like the last 10 years. She's going through some very terrible things at home right now in her home life. So I think she might be taking a little bit of a break from making podcasts, but she also has a very beautiful background, all white, painted woodwork, whitewashed wood, displays her designs and her makes very beautifully around her, and her own designs are beautiful, and her presentation style is very calm. Again, I'm assuming it's European. We Americans are a loud, brash, and obnoxious bunch, I think. And I love all of us. But I do also love my European makers that I love to watch, because maybe it's just because it's not part of my culture and it's different from mine, and it's something I kind of aspire part of that in my life. But I do tend to watch a lot of Europeans for that reason. But Mindful Making is, she's in Australia, and go back and watch her past episodes. She's probably going to be taking a little break for a little bit, but go back and watch her past episodes. She's wonderful. And then the last one is, oh, I'm going to butcher this name. They make Nutiden yarn. On air Ire? It's Swedish. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that. And I try really, really hard to make my pronunciations correct. That's one I just cannot make my mouth do. I watch her on, it's Caroline. I watch her on Patreon. Oh, I got more stuff here. More notes. We're not done yet, people. I watch her on Patreon. I am a Patreon of hers. And I'm a patron, I guess, of hers. And I watch her on Patreon. Is that even the right way to say that? I don't know. So I can get access to her designs, her yarns, before they're pushed out to the public, because I'm 100% a Nutiden fan. I didn't think, when I first got it and I first started knitting with it, I didn't think I was going to like it, but I am 100% a fan of this unspun yarn, and its softness and its gloriousness. At least the one that I have used has been really soft. It's rustic, but it's very soft, and it smells amazing. Okay, that's it for the podcast. Are you still with me? You still there? Hello? Is this thing on? If you're still here, God love you. Thank you so much for being here. Stick with me for a few more minutes. We only got a few more minutes. I'm going to try and do minimal editing here, but there is some stuff I'm going to have to edit down. Okay, houseplants. You know I'm a houseplant addict. I just looked over at one of my faves. Okay, I saved this plant with my daughter's help. It had spider mites. It is so healthy now. It looks flipping amazing. I only have 1, 2, 3 leaves left from the original plant, or what it was originally, that were victimized by spider mites. And you can kind of see down here all the stems that I had to cut away. And I have managed to rehabilitate this, and I am so happy. I am so happy. Although I did just notice right here, do you see this? I have one leaf. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why that one leaf, I don't know, maybe it broke. I don't know, but it's not, that one leaf is not looking good, but that's like one of those like canary in a coal mine leaves where you go, what's going on? Are you okay? Tell me what's wrong. We're going to fix it. And I have resurrected this plant. But I do have a lot of houseplants in my house, and maybe someday I'll show them all to you, but I absolutely love houseplants. And I used to have a black thumb, not even a brown thumb. I had a black thumb. I killed everything. But now apparently I can keep them alive. So I love them. And a home has more hygge, if that's the right word, is more hygge, I think. A home is more hygge if you have lots of natural greenery around your house, inside your house. So I love my houseplants. Let's see, because it's been raining like Seattle here in northern Colorado, I'm not kidding. We're all getting some seasonal affective disorder because of all of the rain. It's mushrooms, mold, like things we're not used to here. El Nino is a thing. Anyway, that is kind of impacting the work that's happening on our addition to our house that we're doing. We have already re-sided the whole house, re-roofed the whole house, put a new front porch on. We've done an addition on the north side of our house, which adds a 2-car garage because we didn't have a garage. 2-car garage and a master bathroom and master closet, and then a mud room going in from the garage into the house. And I don't know, can you see it there? Let's see if I can show you. Oh my God, this is one of my favorite things. If you can see, do you see that right there? Oh man, I've wanted one of those for years in that room. It is a, probably familiar with them. It's not a skylight, it's a, dang it, the name just, solar tube. It's a solar tube. And I have wanted one in that room for years because that room gets that's my family room, gets very little light whatsoever unless it's coming from our big, enormous kitchen window that we just put in. Or from the rest of the house. Very little light it gets. And I always wanted a solar tube or a skylight in there, and so my husband put in a solar tube. My husband's a contractor. He can do anything. He's amazing. And there's also in our bathroom, there's also going to be a solar tube. So it's on the north side of the house, so you kind of need to figure out a way to add some more natural light in there. And I'm beyond ecstatic. Ecstatic. We had an old window in our kitchen. I wish I could do the thing where you could like reverse the video just by pushing. You can't. You have to stop it, reverse it, bring it back again. But we had a pretty big window in the kitchen, but it was it probably was from like the 1930s, maybe a little newer than that. No, I think it might have been the 1930s that window was from. And it was 2 double hung windows like right next to each other. So you had these wooden crossbars, and it really kind of limited your view. We have a mountain view, and it really limited the mountain view out the window. I'd show it to you right now, but hello, it's gray and cloudy again, and it's kind of covering the mountains. Even in the summertime, when the trees all have leaves, I have a mountain view. In the winter, it's even more so. And but we replaced it with an awning style window, and it is beautiful. It's like a picture frame. It's beautiful. I think you technically call it a picture window. It's gorgeous. And because it's awning style, it cranks and it opens out, and so we can get some natural air through the house too. And I love it. So that's the addition and renovation. Hopefully it'll be done by Thanksgiving. Stay tuned. When it's done, maybe I'll do, I worry a little bit about doing home tours, right? Because, Hila did one, and I'm like, I don't know if I like the idea of doing a home tour. Not that I own any kind of fabulously spectacular stuff. I'm a pretty middle class person, but it just kind of weirds me out a little bit. Haven't been able to play golf. I'm kind of a newish golfer, and I do really, really enjoy it. I am very embarrassed when I'm playing, especially if we're paired with another twosome that is really good. Thankfully, people are, for the most part, patient. We have played with some people who've been a little less so, but I do love playing golf. I just have not been able to get out and do it because it's been raining this whole spring and summer. I did go to the Estes. My husband and I went to the Estes Park Wool Market, and I might put some video in from this at the end. I took some video of like llamas and, just kind of our time there. So fun. It's a smaller festival. We were finished in like the morning. We went first thing when it opened, and then we were by lunchtime. We were well done by lunchtime. We were actually driving back down the mountain by lunchtime, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I have a new obsession that you're going to hear about in just a minute. Weaving. I am obsessed. It's 11:42. I have an appointment at 2 o'clock today to take a weaving lesson at Lambspun of Colorado, here in Fort Collins, at 2 o'clock, my first weaving lesson. When I was at the Estes Park Wool Market, I almost bought a 24-inch shocked loom on a stand. Oh my God, somebody stop me. Somebody stop me, because I am obsessed now with weaving. I'm watching all these weaving podcasts now, and I think Ivana might have been the one who made me go, oh my gosh, I need to do that. I need to do that. And then on knitting traditions, I saw Inga. I saw Inga. She pulled out her small knitter's loom. I think she has like a 16-inch knitter's loom that she sits on her lap, and she was working on something. And then one of my very, very dear friends, Anne, she talked about, she's an amazing artist, but she doesn't knit or crochet or anything, but she's like, well, maybe one of these days I'll pull out my loom and I'll work on that and you can sit and knit. I was like, this weaving thing, tell me more. I feel like I must do this. So my husband, for our anniversary, that was his gift to me, was weaving lessons. So I'm going today for my first weaving lessons, and I'm really excited. I mean, like, really excited. Like, I think I might have, by the end of today, I might have bought the shack loom. We shall see. Yeah. So hopefully I'll see you in a few weeks, and I hope you're having a great summer. I hope it's sunnier where you are and not too hot, because I know y'all, some of you are sweltering right now. Hopefully wherever you are, it's lovely. You're knitting and crocheting and weaving and just having a wonderful life, and really enjoying the simple things in life, because love and simple pleasures, that's really all that matters. Talk to you guys soon.